Nights at Freddy's 2 is the second game in the series created by Scott Cawthorne. Now, this video is just pointing out theories, and I will briefly talk about each night, the Body of 87, the Puppet, Minigames, Purple Man, and to a certain degree of Golden Freddy. Now, to get it out of the way, this game is a prequel. It's a prequel.
Now, I want you to forget anything you may have heard about the old locations, some people still have a somewhat negative impression of the company. That old restaurant was kind of left to rot for quite a while, but I want to reassure you, Fazbear Entertainment is committed to family fun and, above all, safety.
This obviously raises red flags as to something happened in the old location, and the reason for the company wanted to desperately make it more family fun and safe. Now, it would appear that after the incident, the company was going down the drain and losing money, hence that old restaurant was kind of left to rot for quite a while. The diner did not close until years after what took place.
Now, that being said, no new system is without its kinks. You're only the second guard to work at that location. The first guy finished his week but complained about conditions. We switched him over to the day shift. So, hey, lucky you, right? Mainly he expressed concern that certain characters seemed to move around at night and even attempted to get into his office. Now, from what we know, that should be impossible. That restaurant should be the safest place on Earth. So while our engineers don't really have an explanation for this, the working theory is that the robots were never given a proper night mode. So when it gets quiet, they think they're in the wrong room. So then they go try to find where the people are, and in this case, that's your office. So our temporary solution is this. There's a music box over by the prize counter, and it's rigged to be wound up remotely. So just every once in a while, switch over to the prize counter video feed and wind it up for a few seconds. It doesn't seem to affect all of the animatronics, but it does affect one of them.
These kinks that Phone Guy tells you about, of course, means that something is seriously wrong with them. Jeremy Fitzgerald, as Phone Guy says, is the second guard to work at that location. Phone Guy continues to talk about how the guard before him worked the night shift and was moved to the day shift. This raises a question as to who is working a day shift during the time of the first guard. Could it have been Phone Guy who had the day shift and looked for someone else to work the night shift? But maybe he refused and already knew about the animatronics? It could be possible that the first guard worked both day and night shift, but of course there is no proof of this. The music box only affects one of the animatronics, which is the puppet seen on cam 11. But why only him? Phone Guy said that when it gets quiet, they think that they're in the wrong room and try to find who the people are. Yeah, it's true that you are the only person in the pizzeria, but the only room where there is any kind of music is the prize corner.
By now, I'm sure you've noticed the older models sitting in the back room. Those are from the previous location, and we just use them for parts now. The idea at first was to repair them. They even started retrofitting them with some of the newer technology, but they were just so ugly, and the smell. So the company decided to just go in a whole new direction and make them super kid-friendly. Those older ones shouldn't be able to walk around, but if they do, the whole Freddy head trick should work on them too, so whatever.
Bonnie, Chica, Freddy, and Foxy are indeed the original characters from the first location. So far from what we know is that something happened in the first location and the old animatronics suffered from the condition the previous location was left in. He explains that they are being used for parts now, and the company even started retrofitting them with some of the newer technology, which gives them the mobility to move around once again. Just like in the first game, the older animatronics are described to have a foul smell. Could it be from the poor conditions they were left in, or something darker? Sure, new animatronics are fine, but what about its already dark history?
Oh, hey, before I go, I wanted to ease your mind about any rumors you might have heard lately. You know how these local stories come and go and seldom mean anything. I can personally assure you that whatever is going on out there, however tragic it may be, has nothing to do with our establishment. It's just all rumor and speculation, people trying to make a buck, you know.
Phone Guy tries to pass it along as people trying to make a buck. He seemingly knows what happened in the old location. The public also knows what happened, and it looks like they are trying to warn other customers. Phone Guy tries to ease Jeremy's mind and lie to him so he doesn't quit his job, since Jeremy may be the only hope they have. But for what?
Hello. Hey there, Night 4. I told you to get the hang of it. Okay, so just to update you, there's been somewhat of an investigation going on. We may end up having to close for a few days. I don't know. I want to emphasize, though, that it's really just a precaution. Fazbear Entertainment denies any wrongdoing. These things happen sometimes. It'll all get sorted out in a few days. Just keep an eye on things, and I'll keep you posted. Just as a side note, though, try to avoid eye contact with any of the animatronics tonight if you can. Someone may have tampered with their facial recognition systems. We're not sure. But the characters have been acting very unusual, almost aggressive toward the staff. They interact with the kids just fine, but when they encounter an adult, they just stare.
Phone Guy says that there is an investigation going on and they may end up having to close for a few days. The rumors and speculations are reaching authorities, and it's only natural for them to get involved because of what happened, and most importantly, for the safety of children. Fazbear Entertainment, of course, denies any wrongdoing because they want to detach themselves from what happened, to brush it off under the rug and move on. He also says that someone may have tampered with their facial recognition systems. No ordinary parent would know how to mess with that, without the proper training. So, that leads us to believe that it has to be one of the few that work for the company. More importantly, it has to be someone that interacts with them on a daily basis. They interact with kids just fine. With adults, it's a different story. They just stare. They have facial recognition, but the tampering could have led them to see every adult as a criminal.
Oh, hey, good job, Night 5. Keep a close eye on things tonight, okay? From what I understand, the building is on lockdown. No one is allowed in or out, especially concerning any previous employees. When we get it all sorted out, we may move you to the day shift. A position just became available. We don't have a replacement for your shift yet, but we're working on it. We're going to try to contact the original restaurant owner. I think the name of the place was Fredbear's Family Diner or something like that. It was closed for years, though. I doubt we'll be able to track anybody down.
Things are getting more serious now. Phone Guy thinks about moving Jeremy to the day shift as a position just strangely became available. The building is on lockdown. No one is allowed in or out, especially concerning any previous employees. What happened to the first guard? Did he quit or was he fired? Why would the now fired day guard come back during the night? It's not like one of the animatronics will give him his paycheck. The company is also trying to contact the original restaurant owner, but what for? If they are starting fresh, why would they need to contact the previous owner? We are given the name of the previous location, Fredbear's Family Diner, but he goes on to say that he doubts that they will be able to track anybody down. What if the original restaurant owner does not want to be found?
Hello. What on earth are you doing there? Didn't you get the memo? The place is closed down, at least for a while. Someone used one of the suits. We had a spare in the back, a yellow one. Someone used it. Now none of them are acting right. Listen, just finish your shift. It's safer than trying to leave in the middle of the night. We have one more event scheduled for tomorrow, a birthday. You'll be on day shift. Wear your uniform. stay close to the animatronics and make sure they don't hurt anyone, okay? For now, just make it through the night. When the place eventually opens again, I'll probably take the night shift myself. Okay, good night and good luck.
Finally, Jeremy is going to be moved to the day shift, but not the way he expected. Why would no one tell Jeremy about the place being closed down after hours? Someone must have seen him come in for his shift, right? Phone guy tells Jeremy to finish his shift because it's safer. I can see that, but doesn't it seem more to it than that? The animatronics' main target during the night is the guard. Is Jeremy being used as bait in order to keep the animatronics inside the building so they don't break out and wreak havoc in the streets? Lastly, someone used the suit. A golden Freddy suit. We never see the suit before this night. Was it probably out of camera range? But the main question remains, who took that suit? There is reason to believe that the victim of the bite was Jeremy Fitzgerald, since he was ordered to be close to the animatronics to make sure they don't hurt anybody. On Freddy, there appears to be handprints on its face as signs of struggling to get free. In the first game, Phone Guy states that the victim of the bite survives, even having lost their frontal lobe. The frontal lobe contains most of the dopamine-sensitive neurons, which is associated with reward attention, short-term memory task, and motivation. Report from the National Institute of Mental Health says that the gene variant that reduces dopamine activity is related to poor performance and inefficient function of that brain region of that memory task. Functionality of that region tends to be lower with people who have Alzheimer's. Function of the frontal lobe invokes the ability to recognize the consequences of one's actions and the difference between good and bad. The override and suppression of socially unacceptable behavior and the ability to determine the similarities and differences between things or events. A symptom of damage to that area can be a belief that an identical replacement has taken the identity of a close friend or a relative and is posing as that person, in which we have reason to believe that Jeremy was the victim of the bite and he was the one that killed those 5 children from the first game and stuffed them into suits. Before I play the audio, think about this. Since they were going to reopen with a smaller budget as told in the newspaper after the second game, it's possible that they reopened in the old location. Phone Guy does indeed take the night shift.
Oh, hey, wow, day 4. I knew you could do it. Hey, listen, I may not be around to send you a message tomorrow. It's been a bad night here for me. I'm kind of glad that I recorded my messages for you. When I did. Hey, do me a favor. Maybe sometime you could check inside those suits in the back room. I'm going to try to hold out until someone checks. Maybe it won't be so bad. I always wondered what was in all those empty heads back there. You know. Oh no.
The calls are actually messages he left you to listen to during each night. Phone Guy wants Mike, guard from the original game, to check the suits in the back because he is about to be stuffed inside a suit. Phone Guy wants Mike to possibly find him. He states that he might survive the ordeal by saying, maybe it won't be so bad. The puppet. Oh boy, do we all love him! Once the music box stops, he comes out to play. But what is he exactly? Phone Guy talks about him as if he has been working with it for a while. The puppet can't be that new, right? Let's look at one of the minigames that may explain his origins. I'll save you the heart attack. The game ends with the puppet jump scaring you. Why him though? The minigame starts out with you playing as Freddy Fazbear as you have to serve cake to these little kids or they will get angry. As we take a closer look, we see one lonely child that appears to be out of the restaurant, crying. You continue to serve cake, not really paying much attention to it until a car slowly approaches the child. A purple man steps out and we see the child change. His eyes get bigger and it appears that slowly but surely he is being either transformed or stuffed into a suit. The end result shows some very interesting similarities. All while this is happening, you hear a robotic voice. This voice is actually spelling save him. Freddy knows that something terrible is going to happen to the little kid outside and is trying to get someone to save him. The next minigame appears to have nothing special, but it does have Foxy's trademark when it runs at you in the first game. This time, Foxy appears to be against the clock as to see how fast he can reach the kids. Once there, the children cheer and small fireworks go off to congratulate Foxy. On his third run, there is a purple man standing still. We don't pay much attention to it and go towards the kids in the other room waiting for Foxy to make its grand entrance. Upon entering the room, all of the smiling and cheering children are dead. The finger can be immediately pointed at the purple man. In another minigame, you play as the puppet with what seems to be 4 dead children on the ground. The game tells you to give gifts, but aren't they already dead? This is where things get really interesting. After the gifts don't work, the puppet has a not so bright idea to bring the kids back. The next segment is to give life. As you go from child to child, we see the heads of the original animatronics being put on these children. The only way to give life was to do the same that had been done to him. These events that occur in the minigames could have very well be the incidents that took place in the original diner and forced it to close down. Now, it's possible that the purple man is the original restaurant owner. How are the new ones acting up? Like before, they used the old animatronics for parts, which were already possessed, so to speak. Also, someone was tampering with them. Could it have been the puppet to rain hell upon the adults, or could it have been the mysterious day guard? He was fired and the building was locked down to prevent previous employees to enter. They must know that it was him, but the question is, who is he?
Yo, J Arcade, what's going on, dude? Why are you wide awake right now? You've been wide awake, J Arcade, since 1:30. Oh!
Was that phone guy? Sure, the object this purple guy had was shaped like a phone, but it could be something else. A baton, maybe? Could this be the day guard? Could it be that the original restaurant owner took upon a new identity and took the job? Like a serial killer reliving his glory days. Phone guy mentions that they might not be able to track anybody down if they contact the original owner. He may not have to look very far. Here is where the line is drawn and questions rush in. Golden Freddy himself is a mystery. His background is even more mysterious. We have tried to look into it and always hit a dead end. What is Golden Freddy exactly? Was Golden Freddy in the original diner? Could Golden Freddy be the cause of what happened and after the incident occurred, they hid the suit away from use? Jeremy has an empty Freddy head, so it's safe to assume that someone could have taken the yellow suit from an endoskeleton and wore it. Speaking of endoskeletons, there is one scene after the puppet comes out. Could it be the endoskeleton of Golden Freddy? So many questions to no answers. Even Scott Cawthorne, the creator of the game, says that he has no idea what to do with Golden Freddy. Geeks Under Grace had interviewed him, and his response to Golden Freddy was, a link to the full interview will be in the description below. And one last thing, Markiplier uploaded a picture which appears to be the third Five Nights game. It shows what appears to be a more lifelike Freddy and the words, "I am still here." Alright guys, that's the end of the video. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Please like and comment what your thoughts and theories are down below. And if you enjoyed yourself, please subscribe. This took a while. But once again, thanks for watching guys.